Hey everyone, it's Joe, also known as Journey with Joe, and I'm just coming tonight. It's a little past 9:30 here in New York, and clearly I'm ready for bed, but I just had something in my heart and I knew I wanted to get it out. I've been thinking about writing a blog about this, but it seems like talking it out is just going to be the way that I want to disseminate this information. But I just want to come to talk a little bit about forgiveness. And the reason why is because I've been super intentional this past year working on forgiving people who have hurt me and who have wronged me and who've really done things that allowed me to alter my perception of myself, allowed me to doubt myself in many ways, and really just allowed me to hold in so much anger that I couldn't function, that I couldn't, go about my normal day to day, and really just being a detriment to who I was as a person, mind, body, and spirit. So I've been extremely intentional on working on forgiveness because I have definitely come to realize that it is something that we need to do more for ourselves than the person that we are forgiving. This was something that I never thought to be true before in the past. For the better part of my entire life, I could definitely say that I prided myself on being able to hold a grudge against someone who did something wrong to me and never apologized. And I just cut them off up here and in here, but still have that grudge, or still roll my eyes when I see them, or still, make sure I don't talk to them or go out of my way to exclude them from certain things. And that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and honestly, I don't know about you, but for me, it just doesn't feel good when you have to uphold a grudge, right? Like, it is taxing in a way. So, when I knew that I wanted to shift my online platform to be more of an advocate, to be more of a person that is open about sharing my story and my struggles, where I'm at and where I'm going, I really knew that I had to get serious about forgiveness. I know, and God speaks to us and shows us things in different ways depending on who we are. But I know for a fact that God told me, I heard his voice clear as day, saying that the things that he has for me would not be unlocked until I forgave. So knowing that, I really had to get serious about it. But the thing with forgiveness, and I'll speak for myself because I know everybody doesn't process and do things the same way, but the thing about forgiveness is that it actively takes time. It takes work, right? Like, you're not just gonna get up one day like, oh, well, I forgive such and such for doing this, and the end, you feel better, the birds are chirping outside, the sun is shining, and everything feels good. No. For me, a lot of my forgiveness and the things that I know that I've been holding on, especially have been from people who have hurt me, who I know for a fact, like, never made any outreach or any attempt to even apologize, or I just know that they're not in a space to apologize, and they probably won't ever apologize. And I think that was the thing that hurt me the most, and why I felt like I had to hold on to this forgiveness, because I'm sitting here trying to forgive someone or people. I'm sitting here trying to forgive people who, one, never even acknowledged that they did something to hurt me, and two, I know won't give me the apology that I know that I deserve. So trying to forgive in that sense, I think, is a lot more difficult, because it's kind of like I'm forgiving a ghost. Like, the people that I can think about and who I am thinking about when I think about the forgiveness journey that I had to put myself on are people who are no longer a part of my lives. I don't see them, don't interact with them, which is fine, which is great. That is what is needed. But it kind of just hurts a little more when you have to work through that alone, and you have to work with that, again, for people that just aren't around, right? Like, who aren't in your life, you don't have access to anymore, and who haven't done the forgiveness, right? So in my case, I'm thinking about these people who have done things to me, never apologized to it, yet I'm sitting here holding on to this anger, holding on to this resentment, holding on to all these ill-willed feelings against them. And it's hurting me because I'm the one that's carrying this big backpack full of bricks, full of unforgiveness. So in my attempt to get serious about that, obviously I definitely prayed. I seeked counsel to just people that I know that I can come to and have these conversations with. Read a lot on forgiveness. There's a lot of material out here, guys, and it's so fortunate that we live in this digital age where, like, we have pages like on social media that are dedicated to this, like how to forgive, and all of those things help me, and really therapy as well, but just helping me to realize it is for me and not the other person. I think once that clicked in this tough head of mine, then it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for me so that I can move on with my life and so that I can feel better and, live my life without holding on to this dead weight. So yeah, if you are someone right now that is holding on to anger and resentment towards someone who has wronged you, and you feel like, you're just sitting here holding your breath for an apology that you may not get, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to work through those feelings, work through, just process it, everything that led up to that situation. And I also would say, in being super transparent, think about the role that you played in the situation, right? Because we know there's always two sides to the coin, two sides to the pendulum, and not saying that you're not worthy of the forgiveness or, that the other person isn't absolutely wrong in what they did, but there's a role that we played in that. Whether we're guilty or they're guilty, that's not the purpose of it, but just thinking about that so you're not repeating these same cycles and mistakes with other people. So I just want to send that encouragement. I really, I didn't have any script. I didn't have anything that I was following to talk. This just has been heavy on my heart. And I still will probably write an actual blog about this, but I really just pray that whoever it is, I don't know who this is for, but it is for somebody. Get intentional about forgiving people. It feels very good to get that heavy lift off of your shoulders and that weight release once you truly do it, and that you actively, still work, right? Like, there are people who have wronged me that I have forgiven in here, and maybe, sometimes I might get triggered by something in the world that may remind me of that situation, or, a thought may come into my head that is reminiscent of that situation, and then, you get triggered and you get upset all over again. There are things that we can do to work through to help us when those times happen, if they do happen. So highly encourage that. And one thing also, I do want to give a shout out to Unmothered, Unbothered podcast. That is her name on Instagram, and the name of her podcast, beautiful, beautiful Black queen that I had the wonderful pleasure of connecting with on social media this summer. But she did a forgiveness challenge back in July, and I'm almost certain that it's still on her page. So if you follow her at Unmothered, Unbothered podcast, she did a forgiveness challenge where every day there was a different journal prompt that helped you in the process of healing and forgiving. And I did that around the time where I was still letting go of some things. It was kind of like the icing on the cake of all of the work that I've been doing, and it was truly transformational. I don't know about you all, but it's something about getting pen to paper with certain things and thoughts. It helps you just to release in a certain manner. And of course, that's not the way for everyone, but I really, really highly suggest that you go back on her feed and check out her forgiveness challenge, because it was extremely transformational. So I'm gonna stop here, and again, I hope and I pray that this has been a blessing or helpful to someone that has been watching, if you're still watching. And again, thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. And God bless each and every one of you. Take care.